Okay, so when you think of Delhi, what comes to mind? You probably picture this ancient, eternal capital, right? A city that's just always been the center of power. But what if I told you that for most of its history, that just wasn't true? Let's dig into the real story here.
So, here's the big question we're tackling. Was Delhi always this capital city that we know it as today? Well, you might be surprised by the answer.
Yeah, the answer is a big, fat no. In fact, for centuries, it just wasn't. Delhi's rise to the top is actually way more recent than most people think, really only getting started in the 12th century. Before that, it wasn't some sprawling imperial hub. Think of it more like a small town, kind of on the sidelines, and definitely not the center of the action.
All right, so if Delhi wasn't always a big deal, then who put it on the map? Well, that story starts with its very first rulers and the decision they made to set up shop right there.
The first group to really see something special in this place were the Tamara Rajputs. They're the ones who said, yep, this is our new capital. And then a little later, the Chauhans of Ajmer came in and took the reins. So you've got these two dynasties, and they're the ones who really got the ball rolling, taking Delhi from just another minor settlement and starting it on its journey to becoming a city that, actually mattered.
Okay, but here's where the story gets really interesting. You might think its first claim to fame was as some kind of military fortress or a big political seat. But nope, it was all about the money. It was all about business. Delhi was becoming an economic powerhouse way before it was an imperial one.
And you could see this boom happening all over the place. The city became this magnet for wealthy Jaina merchants. And they weren't just showing up, they were investing their fortunes, building these absolutely magnificent temples. But maybe the biggest sign of its growing clout was something you could literally hold in your hand. Delhi started minting its very own coins. These coins had a specific name, Dilhiwal. And the cool thing is, they didn't just stay in Delhi, they traveled a lot. The fact that they were so widely circulated tells you everything you need to know. The city's economic influence was stretching far beyond its own walls. This wasn't just pocket change for the locals. This was the currency of a real, powerful commercial hub.
So, you've got this booming commercial city, right? It's really thriving. And that success basically set the stage for the single biggest turning point in Delhi's entire history. We call it the sultanate transformation. What does that mean? Well, in the early 13th century, a whole new power showed up, and they had a completely different plan for the city, a truly imperial one.
And the change was, wow, it was dramatic. Think about it like this. Before the 13th century, Delhi is a really important commercial town. After the Delhi Sultanate is founded, boom, it becomes the capital of a massive empire. This is the moment that the Delhi we all read about in the history books was truly born.
Okay, so as we start to wrap this up, let's just step back for a second and look at the anatomy of how this megacity came to be. What were the essential ingredients that took Delhi from a relatively minor town to a massive imperial capital? When you really break it all down, it's like a three-step process. Step one, you've got the strategic foundation, right? That was laid by the Tamaras and the Chauhans. Step two, it builds up this powerful economic engine, all fueled by merchants and trade. And then, step three, that economic muscle is what made the huge imperial transformation possible under the Delhi Sultanate. That's what locked it in as one of the world's great capitals.
It's pretty amazing when you think about it, because Delhi's story, it isn't just about Delhi. It's almost like a blueprint for how a city builds power. It really makes you wonder, right? How many of the other great cities we know today followed that exact same playbook? Build the economic power first, and then the empire follows, growing step by step into the giants they are today.